Now we'd like to welcome our speaker, Mukund Zalke, sir. Mukund is working as an associate lead SDET at UST Blue Coach. Mukund would be speaking on the topic of introduction to blockchain, smart contracts, and Dapps, and how to test smart contracts. To know more about Mukund and to see his video interview, please check out the below link. Now I'd request Mukund to please continue with the session by sharing his screen.
Sure. Thanks for the introduction. I'll just share my screen. I hope it's visible
Yes.
and everything is correct. Okay. So yeah, first of all, good afternoon, everyone. So I hope you have the energy to digest this topic. It's a topic is all about blockchain, smart contracts, Web 3.2, and most importantly, it's about like how we can contribute towards it and how we can contribute to Web 3. What kind of thought process we should have while testing this as well. So I have a lot of things to cover. So we'll quickly get started. Some introduction about me, which already Mrunmay has given it. But yeah, so I'm currently working as a technical leader estate at UST Product Engineering. I leads the innovation team there, which talks on increasing the productivity of a quality engineers. Apart from that, you can connect with me on LinkedIn and Twitter. And if you wanted to hear my other conferences, I've also talked in Test Guild, and especially Global Testing Retreat is special for me because it was the first conference where I was invited in 2019. So this is the second time, and I'm hoping for the good. So yeah, so we'll just get started. The agenda for today is, first of all, we'll understand this ecosystem, because there are a lot of buzzwords, right? You might have heard about metaverse, you might have heard about Web3, you might have heard about blockchain in general. So we should understand the ecosystem first, what exactly it's, what exactly blockchain is, and then we'll understand what are the smart contracts, what kind of role they play into this system. And we'll also talk about the difference of Web 1.2 to 2.2 to 3.0, which is happening, and so on. And we have a special topic on smart contract testing as well. And we'll also see that with the demo. And we'll also talk about metaverse in general. But not only I'll talk about metaverse, but I'll show you like how you can enter into metaverse. Currently, we don't have VR with this, but still we can do it by some application called Decentraland. So we'll try to do it if time permits. Okay, so to the next part. So while talking about ecosystem, right? So we'll start from the bottom layer of the ecosystem, and it's a quite glimpse of most of the things which people talk about Web3 and blockchain, but we'll understand it from a bit. Okay. So, but before that, like metaverse has a significant impact on commercial and personal lives, and there are a lot of investment coming in. And that is why we need to talk about these things nowadays, as there are a lot of investment. There are McKinsey is already talking about it. There are 79% of consumers active on these platforms. There is 50% more revenue generating out of these platforms. Even Gartner has its own opinion on the same. They have already suggested that like 2 trillion of goods and services are annually has been already supporting the global economy using these platforms. And by 2027, most of the, like not most, but 20 to 30% of the workforce will also work virtually. And what are these virtual workspaces now? So all those things are a talk of a town, and we should understand this for the next era. So we'll talk about the layers of the same, starting with the protocol layer. So it is at the bottom of the stack. So it is made up of underlying blockchain architecture, on top of which everything else gets built on. So this is a backbone of it. You must have come from the background where you have understanding of a front-end application, a back-end application, and how you test it and all those things. But this is, we have to understand from the ecosystem of a blockchain now. So the first layer we see here is a protocol layer, where Bitcoin is a granddaddy of everything, but there are multiple other players also there, like Ethereum, which plays a vital role in Web3 today. There are some other players like Solana, and Polygon is one of the Indian pushed company in this area now. So now next, there is an infrastructure category at the same. So infrastructure layer sits on top of protocol layer, and it's composed of interoperable building blocks. So we call it as a category primitives, which is written, and that are highly reliable at doing specific tasks. So this is a diversified layer, and projects building and everything from building a smart contracts and communication protocols happen into this layer. And there are multiple companies are contributing towards it, or applications are contributing towards it in terms of identifying, transact, and everything. Then we have a use case layer, which talks about the user interface, or the use case where you can go into and see. So there is some kind of blockchain-based games, Axie Infinity. Even there are applications like Decentraland, where you can actually go into the metaverse and understand all these things very well, and also understand the Web3 applications. There are OpenSea, where you can list your NFTs, where basically you have some art form and you have to publish it somewhere. So there is a application called OpenSea where you can put it and share it across by having being anonymous. That is what the fundamental says about blockchain. And there's an access layer at the top where you can access the application. You must have heard about the browser called as Brave, right? And the MetaMask, where you can enter into this metaverse, right? So this is some of the fundamental thing of the ecosystem where you should understand. And there are a lot of terminologies, and we don't have that much of time to go to each of those, but I'll try to cover most of few of those at least and touch base upon. So now you must be really confused with all these things in first place. So we'll start with basics now, like exactly, because the base is a blockchain for most of those, and what exactly blockchain is. So blockchain is a shared immutable ledger that facilitates and process of record transaction and tracking assets in business network. So it commonly also called as distributed ledger technology. Remember the word immutable, because it will be most of the time you will hear around when you talk about blockchain. So there's a block and a chain. So once Albert Einstein also said, like, if you cannot explain the things very well, then you don't know about it as well. So now we will see this with a very small example, so that you all able to digest all these things. So consider friends, Vijay and Mukesh. So there is no relation with Vijay Mallya and Mukesh Ambani here. So it's just a coincidence. So they are roommates and they wanted to split their bills every week, and they wanted to keep a track of it. So Vijay takes an initiative, and he keeps a track of all the bills. So in the first week, Mukesh have to send Vijay $10 as per the transaction happened, and this is what the summary is. So in the next subsequent week, what happens, like Vijay has to send Mukesh $15, but Vijay is a liar. So he changed that record from $15 to $12, and he sends $20 to Mukesh. So in this case, Mukesh was smart and he got suspicious. Like I have my own calculations, and it was not this. So from the next time, he also thinks that I should also keep a track of all these things, right? So he'll also now maintain the record of the same. So in the subsequent next week, Vijay has to send Mukesh bill. The bill was at $10, but he was an habitual liar, so he again changed the record and keep it at 8. But this time Mukesh was maintaining the record as well, and he knows, like, he have to give me $10 at the end. So he got caught. So then he thought of, like, including third roommate, which is Gautam. So it is nowhere related to Gautam Adani, but it's a coincidence again. So in the next place, once so they started sharing their bills, and Vijay have to send Mukesh $20, and both of them now started keeping the record of it. And at the end, in the next week, again Vijay have to give Gautam $30, but he changed the record, and this time also he gets caught because everyone was maintaining the record. The agenda behind explaining the example is, like, Vijay, Mukesh, and Gautam are in a uh, shared ledger, because they're maintaining the ledger at each of their end. They're maintaining the records at each of their end, and that is what is transparent. And this is one of the main characteristics of a blockchain. It is a peer-to-peer network and a replicated ledger. No one can change the records at any point of time. So this is a layman example of the same. We'll understand some technical terms to it, so that it gets some more clarity in this same. So in the next half, what happens, like, they wanted to start a business together now. And if they wanted to start a business together, so they have to start a business of diamond mining kind of business. So on the first go, like, this time they're maintaining the records in some digital form, not in a physical form. So In this case, once he start maintaining the record, they are maintaining in the term of a block. So in blockchain, the maintenance of a record is called as a block. And in the block, there are multiple terms associated to it, like block, nonce, data, hash. So remember, a block is a starting point of it, where like it will check the zero, the block, one block, and two. And the nonce, we'll not talk about it this time. We'll talk about it later. But nonce and data, by the combination of both of those, the hash is being generated. And hash is nothing but a cryptographic key here, which is unique for every time. It is a combination of nonce and data. So if there is any change in data, the hash changes. So that is the true value of a blockchain as well. So now Vijay kept the data, like they have mined 5 diamonds this time. So in the next go, they have mined 12 diamonds. And Mukesh knows about the Vijay lies sometimes. So he also keeps the data with them. So in the third go, they mine 20 diamonds. So all of them keep the record of it, so that there should be no cheating. And the first block which we have created is always called as a genesis in blockchain. So as we know, like Vijay is an habitual liar, so he tries to change the record in the block. So instead of 46 diamonds, he changed it to 12 diamonds. And the previous hash key was 0 ABC, because we have seen like it is a combination of data and nonce. So once the hash key is changed, the next hash key also changed it. The next block hash key also changed from 0124 to 0125, and the hashes, and due to it, he gets caught. And in the blockchain, if anyone tries to tamper the data, the block hashes change, and it is the combination of nonce and data. And it is a whole concept of a blockchain in short, if I talk about. And it is a peer-to-peer network, a replicated ledger, and protected by a cryptographic key, which we have seen, and it is a decentralized system. So this is a short of blockchain in detail. So now we will understand like how we can contribute to this. If we wanted to contribute to the diamond business, how we can do it, right? So just understanding the concept is not enough. How we can implement and learn it, right? So consider we are going into the Ethereum network. There are multiple networks. I talked about protocol layer earlier, right? There is Bitcoin, there is Ethereum, Solana. So major contributor in the Web3 business is Ethereum, and most of the apps are built on top of Ethereum. And nowadays, Polygon as well. So if this is a Ethereum network and all of the system are interconnected, and all of the records and the ledgers, basically we call it as a ledger maintained. So if you wanted to connect to it, we need a client called Go Ethereum to connect to those. And if you wanted to contribute to the Ethereum, you will need an EVM client, which is an Ethereum virtual machine, like we have EVM in Java. Right? It's not exactly similar, but yeah, we need EVM client to contribute to this system. And how to write, like how to connect to the EVM client, you can have this web interface to connect with the EVM client, which will eventually contribute to the Ethereum network. And how we can contribute to Web3 interface now? By having this JSON RPC protocol, where you can use the tools called as language called as Solidity. You can use Python using JSON RPC. You can use JavaScript, or you can use Java. But majorly, Solidity and JavaScript are the major competitors, or major languages supported in this Web3 interface. So I hope you get an overall picture, like how you can also contribute to the business by developing your applications in this area. So now the next topic is about Ethereum. So you have seen the Ethereum network, right? So Ethereum is a blockchain that allows you to run the program in its trusted environment. And Ethereum has a virtual machine called as EVM, which allows code to be verified and executed on the blockchain. And the code contained in that EVM is called as a smart contracts. So now we will move forward and understand the concept of a smart contract. So there are other important terms as well, like cryptocurrency, which you have heard. It is a medium of changing the money, or in the real terms we have money, but in the blockchain terminology we call this as a cryptocurrency, where you have multiple options by which you can exchange with each other. And there's a Ether, which is also one of the cryptocurrency which used on Ethereum network major. So on different network, different tokens are there. So now we'll talk about the main topic, which is smart contract. So smart contract is a code that it runs on Ethereum virtual machine. and that can accept and store the data and the combination of both basically. So it's majorly they are written in the language called as Solidity, and which syntax is pretty much similar to JavaScript as well. If you're already working with Cypress kind of thing, you might be able to relate to that as well. So yeah. So now, first of all, we'll again understand the smart contract with some examples because that is very easy way to do it. So we'll go back to our three folks, Vijay, Mukesh, and I guess Gautam. So in this case, is a change is a Peter. So they have also now doing the same mining business, and they wanted to do the mining business together, and they have to mine it up till the 100 diamonds is not found, but they wanted to distribute it also among themselves. So it should not happen like which is not doing anything, and Mukesh and Peter is actually getting all the diamonds. So they decided like they should have a, like some kind of agreement, we can say, in between, that if the diamonds is more than 100 diamonds, then they will distribute among themselves. Else, then we will share it to return back to the government. So Mukesh was a smart one and decided this. So if the total diamonds are greater than 100 diamonds, then they distribute among themselves. Else, they return to the government. This was the agreement, mutual agreement which they did. And this mutual agreement in the blockchain terminology is called as contract. And this is nothing but a smart contract. If this happens, so this is a self-written contract where if these conditions are met, then it executes, and then you will get the return output of the thing. And as you know, smart contracts are written on the top of Solidity. So they are written with language of Solidity, and basically currently we're talking about Ethereum network. So majorly it supports Ethereum network as of now, and there are some important characteristics of the same, where it is a decentralized agreement, it is trustless, it is an immutable. Remember the word immutable, because you cannot change once it is written, and it is transparent because all of them have written it on some mutual agreements, and executions happen autonomously. Contract is visible to everyone, but the users are not. All of them are autonomous, and it definitely has some lower cost. So consider a scenario, for example, if you are going and picking some items from a vending machine, you don't need a third person to give you the item, right? You just put the money and you get a specific item from that vending machine. So basically, there is also some kind of logic written, and if that matches the amount, then you get the output. So such kind of thing happens in the smart contract, and it really saves the cost as well and maintains the transparency with each other. So there are multiple use cases of smart contract, like supply chain management is one of the use case. Even like whenever you are taking some item from Amazon or anything, you must currently Amazon is a trusted one, but if there's some new company coming in and they tell that give the money first and then we'll give you the item, it is not transparent, right? So we can think of a scenario where we can write a smart contract where once the item is received, the money is automatically transferred. Such kind of things. So there's a lot of things we can manage about it. There's a retail kind of use case to it. There's a voting in elections because then the frauds will not happen, and the insurance sector. So there are a lot of other use cases of smart contract. We'll discuss about it later in detail. But currently we'll move to the next topic. Like one of the useful use case of smart contract is decentralized application. So now to understand decentralized application, it has been created by DAOs, which is decentralized autonomous authorities. So these are the group of people, we have the company, right? So we invest something, we have the stocks of the company. So in this case, they get some return in terms of tokens, and who invest the most gets most amount of tokens for the organization, and it is decentralized across. And the people who built it is built the application. That application is called as decentralized application, or Dapps. So there are a lot of benefits of the Dapps because it is first of all decentralized. So there is no control or authority over it. That definitely we'll discuss when we'll talk about Web 2.0 and 3.0 difference. But yeah, so it is decentralized, it is transparent, and safe to do the transactions as well. So that is one of the important terminology when we talk about Web 3.0. Now we'll understand a transition, like why Web 3.0 and what is the need of Web 3.0 in the first place. So when in early 2000s or 90s, 100. So Web 1.0 is all about static pages, right? So there was absolutely no need of login. There's no need of interaction in Web 1.0, and most of the things were read only at that time. And when time changed, but Web 1.0 was decentralized enough, right? But in Web 2.0, there is a change happened in this Web 2.0, and in this change, it allowed user for both read and write on centralized platform. We have system and companies like Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Google, who are most of the companies which have a lot of applications around Web 2.0, and they're also leading the current market. But the one thing which is missing thing happening is like we don't have full ownership of the data, because whatever data is there is been influenced by these companies and used for their advertisement. And you must have seen like the user experience which they can give with this personalized ads and all those things. That is something which we have in Web 2.0, and you don't get, as a user, you don't get any return out of it. Companies definitely have a profit out of Web 2.0, right? But that is what the change we wanted to bring in Web 3.0, if we talk about it. So in the Web 3.0, it is a subject of a discussion of the internet. Its goal is to offer a reliable and data-driven user interface using read, write, and own system. So whatever data you will have on this system, it definitely has the read, write options, but also own the data as well. Whatever you see, any ads you see or any revenue you get, it will also be shared with the users, and who will be definitely anonymous in this case. And you cannot change the complete application just by your own decision of the management and all those things. It should be a common thing with all the user around the world who is using that application. And one of the example here is Brave browser. If you have not used, you can check like there's a Web 2.0 transition where we are using Chrome, and there's a Web 3.0 transition happening where we a lot of applications building up in this transition, where one of the most used cases is Brave browser, because here there's an option like if you use the Brave browser, like there's an option like if you see the ad, you will get something in return as a part of a token in the terms of BAT coins that you can definitely convert it into you can generate some revenue out of it also, or you can buy something out of it. Similarly, there is other alternatives in storage or social networking or messaging, and this is some of the application which is majorly used. So Web 3 overall, if I summarize it, Web 3 is a trustless, permissionless, and decentralized internet that leverage blockchain technology overall. So that is one of the important area of Web 3. So these are some of the important components which I've already talked about, but these are some technologies which we use to develop this Web3 application. In the network layer, definitely Ethereum and Polygon as the leading one. And in the interaction layer, we have data access layer. We should use the super node or monitor notified and APIs kind of thing for integrations we use. Then we have presentation layer. We have ether.js, web3.js. Definitely we will see web3.js as well. We have developer environments like Truffle, that is also a part of a demo. So we'll use that environment to create Web3 application, and the decentralized application where you see the actual use case of it, like a MetaMask or Uniswap, where you can swap the coins from. So if you have Dogecoin and you wanted to swap it to some different Ethereum coin, you can do it with Uniswap. So these are some kind of applications which are already been built, and a lot of like NFTs are also there. So this is a Web3 stack, and overall to enter into the Web3 space, most importantly, we should understand like it's not difficult. It is something like we should know about JavaScript or Node.js. That is the primary thing to enter to it, and the Solidity is one of the important ones here. So now, as we are attending the testing conference majorly, so most of the folks are from this background. So what vital role we should play into this area, and how we can get started? What are things we need as an individual to contribute towards this metaverse, Web3, or blockchain kind of thing? So blockchain testing is evolving, and it is we test on different functional components, as you are already aware of a smart contracts. So there is a need of a smart contract testing as well, and we have to definitely focus upon that. And there is an option of peer and node testing. So whatever blocks are there, they call it as in different nodes, or the machines who is associated to that blocks is called as nodes. So we need that testing or integration testing for that nodes as well. So there are different types of blockchain testing. Most majorly, people are trying to move into smart contract testing and node or peer testing. So smart contract testing evolves that evolves in terms of like it needs testing of a transaction and also testing of expected and unexpected condition for every contract. So as we have already talked about smart contract earlier, so as you know the term immutable, right? So it is not it is immutable. So basically, if some contract is written, it cannot change. So consider a scenario if there is 100 million kind of token which is transferring from one end to another end, and if it is not tested, how much havoc it could cause, how much vulnerable it is, right? So we should have some kind of mechanism to test the smart contracts in the first place, that whatever conditions they are written in the smart contract is currently working fine, and it is the expected outcome out of it. So important points while testing the smart contracts are validating the methods, validating the processes, validating the encryption and transmission. These are some of the important points while we do the smart contract testing. So the next definite question is how we should get started into this smart contract testing and what kind of frameworks and tools are there. So coming to the last phase of this is like there are some popular tools we used in this. One of these is Hyperledger Composer. We have Corda, which is used in financial domain majorly, and specifically for smart contract and Ethereum testing, as we are on Ethereum network, right? So we have Truffle, Ganache, Ether. Ether is an open source library on GitHub. It is an Embark kind of thing, framework which is created. But majorly, I have tried out Truffle and Ganache for the same, and I'll show you that as well. So these are some important framework which I'm going to show you. One is Truffle. So Truffle Suite is an ecosystem for DApp development, decentralized application development, and it essentially consists of three parts. One is Truffle, Ganache, and Drizzle. And this is a well-established ecosystem, okay, utilized by high number of developers. So the goal is to ensure that we can test, develop, and deploy the smart contracts easily. And it is an environment which is using Ethereum virtual environment. Truffle is using the Ethereum virtual environment for that. And Ganache is a tool to set up your local Ethereum blockchain that you can use to deploy and test your application. So majorly Ganache is something which definitely we will look into. And Drizzle is a collection of front-end libraries, so where you can create your own application. So I have created my own application at my end. So I'll show you like how we can get started and how we can connect to this. So this is Truffle. So you can go to the trufflesuite.com and understand what Truffle is. Then this is Truffle Suite where you can install it. I have already installed it on my application. It is the most popular development framework on Ethereum, Ethereum-based framework basically. Then we have Ganesh, which is testnet kind of thing, because it gives you the ability to like it will give you some certain amount of coins to test it, and it is a local network. Like for example, even if you wanted to test some payment gateway, right? So they provide you some dummy coins so that you can test that. You will not use real coins in or real money in testing, right? So that kind of environment this Ganesh provides, and which is very important. And Drizzle is a front-end kind of library for the same. So I have already installed all of this, and I have started my application. So this is a Web3 application which I have started using Truffle Suite, and this is one of the application for the pet shop, and I have already installed Truffle. So this is a Truffle which I have installed locally, and you can see what kind of version it has, that you will get an understanding of the technology what is used in the backend. So there's a Solidity, there's a Node, and there's a Web3.js, which we have seen in the technology stack, right? So these are all the technology in the backend and the requirement for having this Truffle in the first place. So consider this is an application, and this is a Web3 application now. It's a live application. So in general, in normal, if you have to do some transfer from one account to another account, you use Google Pay, Phone Pay, right? In this case, we have a wallet kind of thing. In this case, the major wallet which is used is MetaMask. So MetaMask is one of the important wallets which we use to transfer the data. And this is a Ganesh which I have already opened, okay, in the background. So so in this MetaMask, what we do, you have to first choose the network. When I open the Garage, there is an Ethereum network, which is a main network, which is use real Ethereum coins, which is very costly. And Ganesh is their local network. So you can see I got some dummy 99 Ethereum coins to play with or do the testing of the same. So so this is a Ganesh where you can see the blocks that you remember the first thing, right? I talked about the blockchain and the blocks and hash code, everything. This is something which you can track on this Ganesh. So if you can see, remember that you have a block size, right? So this is the block number. 60 is the block number as of now. For transaction, there is some gas price associated. There is the address, the hash key, and the
Mukund,
transaction. Yeah.
We have 2 more minutes. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Just I'll complete it. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and these are the contracts which we have written. So what I'll do, I'll just adopt the bit. This is something like buying something from Web3. So I'll just adopt it. And once I'll click on adopt, you will see like the current block size will increase. Okay. And so there is a 61 block. I'll confirm it. The block size got increased. So basically transaction happened. And this is the hash key of the same. And if I wanted to show you the details of it, it will also be showcased here. And how we have did it? So we did some smart contract we have written in the background. So this is a smart contract which we have here displayed. This is adoption smart contract where the adoption function is called. Now, as I've talked about testing part of it, so we have to test it using Solidity or Java or JavaScript using the same. So this is a JavaScript testing code for the same. Like definitely we wanted to test that adopt function, like how is adopt, if the page has been adopted or not, and how we can retrieve the address for the same. So this is how we can test the smart contract, and we can test it using just a command called as truffle test. So once I do this, so it will automatically test the smart contract test code which we have written, and that is how we will test this application at the end. So once it is happening, so you can also check this out. You can connect with me later to understand this as well in detail. So this test, both of the tests, like one in Solidity and one in JavaScript, is been called in the background, and you will see that the records will increase. Like you can see the record size got increased because the testing is happening, right? So you can see these all the tests are happened, and there are 68 blocks now instead of 61 because we have used that for testing that contract, and there are some contract calls happening in the background. So this is one of the use case where we can use this smart contract wisely, and we can use it for the test. And the last topic is metaverse. So it's a combination. So basically metaverse is nothing but a big overview and a picture of all those, which combines Web3 as well in it, and we have different opportunities for metaverse as well. Like for example, the conference we are having, we can have it virtually on metaverse world. So these are all the things which we can have in metaverse. And one of the application which I wanted to show you was Decentraland. If you go to the Decentraland, so this is a metaverse application. For example, there's a FIFA World Cup going on, right? And you wanted to watch the FIFA World Cup with the people. So you can definitely go to the world they have created for watching the FIFA World Cup there. And there's some conferences, everything. So you can jump in and then have your virtual avatar and enter to it. So these are some of the interesting areas where applications are being developed, and it is a combination of Web3, the augmented reality, the virtual reality, and all of the stuff.
Hey, Mukund.
Yeah.
You're done with that. Mukund.
So, yep, that's it. Yeah.
You continue. Yeah. You can.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that is it all about the thing. I hope there's a lot of things to cover, but in the nick of the time, we cannot cover everything. So if you have any questions, you can ask. And I hope you got the understanding and the global picture of what exactly the blockchain, metaverse, Web 3.0 and smart contract testing is.
Okay, good. Mukund, you'll be around, right? So that people can connect to you, to you on chat and has their questions, right? It will be around here, right? It'll be around,
Sure.
Thank you. And is that code shareable with public, or like how?
Yeah, sure. We can. I can share the code as well.
Okay, then we can do one thing. Okay, if you have that public URL, you can share that along with your slides. Maybe that will help people to connect to whatever you said and to relate with that code. Yes, please share that. And there are like a lot of like few questions coming in chat. Please look at them in interact to chat and answer.
Sure.
And audience, in the last session we had a session from Hitesh. He shared the public Git URL for that Cucumber reflections examples. So I pinged in chat, so that's a public URL of Hitesh. And so Mukund, if you share your public Git URL, I will share with the audience here as well. Okay, that.
Sure, definitely. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, Murun, it's to you now. But it was a swift and quick okay, touch points on each topics, Mukund. Yeah. Yes, Pranav.
So thank you, Mukund, for this amazing session. Now I